All right, so are you ready to jump into some ebooks?
Always.
Today we're taking a deep dive into some of the coolest ebooks Barnes& Noble has to offer. We're talking about fiction, nonfiction, and everything in between.
I think we've got a really good mix here.
Hopefully some hidden gems to add to your digital bookshelf.
Absolutely.
So let's start with fiction.
Okay.
The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. Have you read this one?
I have. It's such a unique book.
It's not your typical fantasy novel, is it?
No, not at all. The setting is incredible. A magical circus that only appears at night. And Morgenstern's writing is just beautiful. It's lyrical and really draws you in.
Yeah, it makes you question what's real and what's illusion.
Right.
Okay, switching gears a bit. Where the Crawdads Sing
Mm-hmm.
by Delia Owens. This one was huge, right?
It was.
What'd you think about the ending?
Hmm.
I know some people found it a bit predictable.
Yeah, I can see that. But for me, it was really Kaya's journey that stood out. The way she overcomes isolation and hardship. You know, Owens does a beautiful job of portraying the North Carolina marshes.
Almost like another character in the story, right?
Exactly.
Okay, let's move on to nonfiction. I'm really excited to talk about Educated by Tara Westover.
Oh, yes.
It's such a powerful memoir. I mean, her story of going from a restrictive upbringing to achieving academic success is incredible.
It really is. But it's more than just a personal story. I think Westover makes us really think about the transformative power of education.
How so?
Well, it's not just about acquiring knowledge, it's about how learning can shape your entire worldview. You know, challenge your beliefs and help you grow as a person. It made me think about my own experiences with education. Have you ever felt that pull between the life you were raised in and the world you discover through learning?
Absolutely. I think that's something a lot of people can relate to. It's that tension between expectation and self-discovery.
Yeah.
All right, now for something completely different. Sapiens, A
Yeah,
Brief
right.
History of Humankind by Yuval Noah Harari. This book is ambitious.
It is. Harari covers so much ground in this book, and he's not afraid to challenge conventional thinking.
Give me an example.
We'll take his argument about agriculture. You know, we usually think of agriculture as a major step forward for humanity, but Harari argues that it might have actually been a trap.
A trap.
Yeah, he suggests that it led to harder work and less leisure time for early humans. It's pretty fascinating, makes you rethink things.
It really does. Okay, ready for some thrillers?
Oh, yeah?
The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. This would just grab me from the start. A woman goes silent after her husband is murdered, and then there's a therapist trying to unravel the mystery. What did you think?
It's so suspenseful. Michaelides does a great job of keeping you guessing. And the twists, I didn't see them coming.
Right. And then there's Big Little Lies by Leanne Moriarty.
Oh, I love Leanne Moriarty.
This one's a classic. You've got three women living in this seemingly perfect town, but of course there are secrets.
Moriarty is so good at capturing the complexities of relationships and the dark side of suburban life. You know it's social commentary with a murder mystery thrown in.
It's brilliant. You think you know these characters, and then bam, everything changes. Okay, are you ready to dive into some young adult fiction?
Let's do it. I am. And we've got two really great picks. One that's really powerful and one that's pure fun. Let's start with the powerful one, The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas.
This one really stayed with me.
It tackles some tough topics.
Yeah, race, identity, police brutality.
Yeah.
And it's all told from the perspective of a teenager.
Which makes it even more impactful.
Definitely. You're right there with Star as she witnesses the shooting of her friend and then has to navigate the aftermath.
It's heartbreaking, but also inspiring to see her find her voice and speak out against injustice.
And Angie Thomas doesn't shy away from the complexity of the issues.
Hmm.
It's not preachy. It feels very real and raw.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Okay, now let's lighten things up a bit with Six of Crows by Lee Bardugo.
Ooh, yes. This one is pure fun. Heist magic. A really cool fancy world.
What's not to love?
Right. And Bardugo's characters are amazing.
Yeah, they're all outcasts with unique abilities and flaws.
They're so relatable. I just wanted to hang out with them in that world forever.
It makes you wonder what magical ability you would want if you lived in that world.
That's a good question. I'd have to think about that. Okay, let's move on to our final category, self-help. We've got two very different books here, starting with one that might raise some eyebrows, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Feck by Mark Manson.
Yeah, the title is definitely attention-grabbing.
So is it as counterintuitive as it sounds?
I think so,
Ugh.
but in a good way. Manson basically argues that we should focus on what really matters and let go of the things that don't.
It's like a permission slip to stop trying to be perfect all the time.
Exactly, and he's so funny and honest about it. It's
I
refreshing.
love how he combines humor with practical advice.
Okay.
Okay, and speaking of embracing your authentic self, we have to talk about You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero.
This book is like a shot of espresso.
Right. It's pure motivational energy.
Sincero's writing is so engaging, and her tips are actually actionable.
It makes you believe you can achieve anything.
It really does.
So there you have it, a whirlwind tour through some seriously amazing ebooks, from fantasy to self-help.
It just goes to show there's something for everyone at Barnes & Noble.
Absolutely. So what about you, listener? Which of these books caught your attention? What are you adding to your digital bookshelf? Let us know.
You know, as we've been talking about all these different books, something has really struck me. It's the power of stories. No matter the genre, they connect with us on such a deep level.
That's so true, whether it's escaping into a magical world or learning about someone else's life story.
Right. Think about The Night Circus. It's pure fantasy, but it also makes you think about the magic in everyday life.
And then you have a book like Educated, which is so personal and raw, it makes you reflect on your own journey and struggles.
It's amazing how books can evoke so many different emotions: joy, sadness, anger, hope. It's a testament to the power of storytelling.
Absolutely. And I think it highlights the importance of reading diversely, stepping outside of our usual genres.
It's like exploring different parts of the world. You gain new perspectives and expand your understanding. If you only stick to what you know, you might miss out on something amazing.
Totally agree. Why limit yourself to one type of food when there's a whole world of flavors out there? Speaking of exploring, let's talk about the future of reading itself. Ebooks have really changed the game, haven't they?
They have. They're so convenient and accessible. And there are so many features that enhance the reading experience.
Like adjustable font sizes and built-in dictionaries. But I do wonder how this will impact traditional publishing and the feeling of holding a physical book.
That's a good question. I think there's something special about the tactile experience of reading a physical book.
I agree. The smell of the paper, the weight of it in your hands. But ebooks make reading so much more portable. I think finding a balance is key.
I agree. It's about enjoying the act of reading regardless of the format.
So what do you think, listener? Do you prefer ebooks or physical books? Or maybe a bit of both? How do you think ebooks will continue to shape the literary landscape? We'd love to hear your predictions.
Yeah, it really makes you think about how technology is changing the way we experience books.
But at the end of the day, it's still about the stories, right? That connection we feel with the characters and the ideas.
Definitely. Stories have the power to transport us, to teach us, and even to challenge our beliefs.
Speaking of challenges, you mentioned earlier how Harari argues that agriculture might have been a trap for humanity.
Right.
It's like, whoa, wait a minute. What do we really consider progress?
Exactly. And that's what makes books like Sapiens so thought-provoking. They make us question the narratives we've been told. And that's something we can apply to all areas of life, not just our reading habits.
Totally. Being open to new perspectives, challenging assumptions, that's how we learn and grow.
Absolutely. And sometimes the most unexpected sources can lead to the biggest breakthroughs. Think about The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Feck.
Right. Who'd have thought a book with that title could offer such valuable insights?
It just shows you that wisdom can come from anywhere as long as we're open to it.
So to wrap up this deep dive into ebooks, we encourage you, dear listener, to stay curious. Keep exploring different genres, keep challenging your assumptions, and most importantly, keep those digital bookshelves growing.
And remember, the journey doesn't end when you finish a book. Take some time to reflect on what you've learned, how it connects to your own life, and how you can apply those insights.
What new worlds will you discover? What perspectives will you gain? We'd love to hear about your reading adventures.
Happy reading, everyone!
Happy reading!